Yeah, guys, in this video, I just want to do show you how I did a peeling clear coat repair on this full focus Mark 1. This is not going to be like an how-to regards to the method, how you do it. I'll put a link in the video description to a Gunman video. He's done an excellent video on it. This is what I did following his instructions, and I'll show you the mistakes I made by not following his instructions perfectly. And hopefully, by seeing what I did, you can see the mistakes I made, and maybe that'll help you avoid like noob errors like the ones I made. So first of all, I used an air gun and an air compressor. I don't think there's any way you can do it without an air compressor, to be fair. And I think at least a 50-litre one. And I also used professional paint for this. So I had to mix the colour with the hardener. The paint with the thinners, and then the top coat is, I believe it's epoxy. It's a clear coat. I mixed it with 2 parts clear coat, 1 part hardener, and then 10% thinners. So start off with the bonnet. So it looks all right from a distance. It probably shows all right on the camera, but there is a wicked orange peel on the clear coat finish. The paint went on all right, but like I said, the clear coat is there's quite a bad orange peel with it. Maybe you can see the odd reflections from the sun there, along there. And that was down to, I think, not using enough pressure in the gun when I did it, and also perhaps the temperature also played a part, because it was around 15 Celsius when I did it. Plus I did it outside. It was a bit windy, which wasn't great for the spray pattern, and I think it was also started to rain a little bit. So those are all the excuses I had for it not coming out okay. I think the finish on it will be okay. It's going to last, because there is a plenty good coat of clear coat on it. I must have put 3 coats on, but it's not a smooth finish by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe I could have paid a bit more attention when I was spraying it to make sure I was getting like a mirror finish on the clear coat when I was doing it. Well, generally speaking, when I'm spraying, I hate to get runs in the clear coat, because that's a bit of a nightmare to clear. So maybe I was a bit of a coward there with the amount I put it on. I didn't put enough on for each coat also. But like I said, generally from a distance it looks all right, and I think it will last, which is what I was going for on this. At the end of the day, this is over a 20-year-old car. It's got well over 500,000 kilometers on it. So I was just looking for, from a distance, in low light, the car looks, half presentable. So that was the bonnet. The mirrors, as you can see, this was missing. Someone stole this. Well, I believe they stole it, because it wasn't the cover was not anywhere near where I parked the car. About 2 days after I painted it. So that one's gone, but that came out perfect. This is the other one. This is a bit of dirt on it, but again, this came out perfect. Right amount of colour. The finish is perfectly smooth on the clear coat. So I'll just briefly say what I did. I basically sanded it all down. I think you've got to go down to bare metal if you have to, but it has to be a smooth finish. Put some fill-in primer over to get rid of any little dings or any tiny surface imperfections. And then once you've done that, then you can start the painting process. So then we come on to the big mistake I made. And this is like a huge noob error here. I completely messed this up, this roof panel here. Again, this was real bad peeling with a clear coat on the roof. It took a while to sand down. I put the primer on it like I did with the bonnet. But the mistake I've made here is the clear coat, the top coat. I've mixed it wrong. I put the varnish, the clear coat, with 50% thinners and 10% hardener, where it should have been 50% hardener and 10% thinners. I don't hate the way it came out, and it's come out like with a matte finish for the roof, which I think is fantastic. My issue is I'm not sure how long this is going to last. It doesn't feel, that shiny. It feels a bit matty. So I may well end up having to do this again, unfortunately. But that was a mixing error. The other thing I did then was these side rails here. I thought I would try something different on these. I did this separately, and then later I did this one. My plan was for these side rails here, to do this with an airbrush. Because I was thinking with an airbrush you could blend it in easier. But having tried it now on this, I can say that that was a mistake. I should have done the whole panel in one go and tried to do the blending with the big air gun, or just use the airbrush for the sides to do the blending. I tried to do all this with a little airbrush, and it's just too much. It's just too big an area to do with those little airbrushes, and you can see that the paint didn't come out evenly. Those little airbrushes, they're great, they're amazing for tiny little imperfections, but whenever you start doing like an area sort of that big and bigger, it's just too much. There is just not enough paint coming out of them, in my opinion. So that was that. And then I'll just show you the other roof rail, which I did the same thing. It just does not come out evenly. There's a lot of dirt in the car. Maybe I should have washed it for this video. But yeah, this one's come out a bit better, a bit more consistent, but still it would have been much better to use a proper spray gun on this side. And then we come on to the rear wing. I was really fantastically happy with the way this came out. This was completely destroyed when I started. This took quite a lot of sanding. I had to go down to maybe there's a bit of wood in the middle of this. This was really bad. So that was quite a lot of sanding. I've gone around here, I've sanded all this. I've masked off this. I just put a light coat, light sand underneath here. I didn't really paint much here. I just went from this side because, you know, if it's not on the sun top, it was not bad here really at all. It was just all this area that had the damage. But again, like it's on the small pieces, it's come out, in my opinion, absolutely perfect. For sure, I could have done a bit more prep on it. I mean, like I've missed this little piece here. And that's basically it for the paint. It was just these top panels, the roof, the boot, thankfully, is not too bad at the moment. It was the wing, the roof, and the bonnet had the problem, and the mirrors were just a bit cracked and scratched. And the other thing that I did was this headlight here. This was pretty foggy before. This was a Hella. They were both replaced at the same time. This is a Hella lamp. It's fantastic. I haven't had to do anything with this. It looks almost like new after, I don't know how long it's been on there, 2 years easily, maybe 4 now. But this one was a cheaper one. I think the Hella was, I don't know, 120 maybe, and this was like 60. Looking back on it, I think the Hella at 120 was better value than this one for 60, because I think the Hella came with a motor in it, and it came with, I just want to maybe the covers it came with on the back, but this came with no motor, no covers, and it started to fog after about 6 months to a year. It started to get foggy. The first time I tried to repair this, I did the usual sanding, and I had the clear coat in a can, and I've sprayed that on it, and it looked good originally, but again in 6 months that started to fade as well. So this is why I didn't do spray can, the rattle can job on the paint, because of the experience I had with the dodgy clear coat, the clear coat not standing up to the sunshine basically. So I've sanded this down. I've done maybe like 400 grit, 800 grit, and then 2000 grit, and then I've sprayed the clear coat at the same time I did the bonnet, and this is how it's come out. I'd say it's almost, if not, it's almost identical. I mean, if you didn't know that they were different, I think you'd probably say they're the same. But there is a little bit of, this is slightly darker, but if you're not looking for the difference, I don't think you can see it. And this has been on there now for, yeah, probably 6 months. But there's absolutely no sign that that's going to fade like the rattle can one did. The paint I used, clear coat, this is all professional stuff from a professional body shop supply place, because I wanted something long lasting. I didn't want to, you know, spend however many hours I did on it and then have to do it again in a year or something. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it was worth the expense. I think I paid altogether in materials, not including the compressor, not including the paint gun, I think I probably spent about 150 euro. That includes polishing, the polishing compound, sandpapers, the paint, the thinners, the Vernaki, the hardener, and I might even have factored in, you know, the gloves, the mask, and the goggles, like all in 150, which I think for this car, for the value that it's worth, I mean, in other countries it's probably worth a lot less than in Greece, but I think 150 and I don't know how many hours, probably 10 hours into it, maybe 15 hours max. For what it was before to what it was now, I think, fingers crossed, it was money well spent, and I think a relatively cheap job. Just really unfortunate about this mirror cover. That pissed me off, that did. I mean, like I said, it was on the car for like 1 or 2 days and then someone's pinched it. But I suppose in a way that shows what a good job it was, because it was absolutely perfect. And that's it, guys. That was the peel and paint repair that I've done on this car. These are the mistakes I made. So if you're thinking about doing it yourself, those are the things to look out for. In my case, the temperature I think is important when you're doing it. The higher the temperature, the better. And I think they recommend, they were saying to me like 20 minimum or 25 Celsius to do it in, and I didn't do it now. I was in about 15 Celsius. Pressure is important. The higher the pressure, within reason, the better. And if you find that you're getting a bit of orange peel, I think putting a bit more thinners in it is what the Gunman said. So that's, if I was going to do the bonnet again, that's what I'd do differently. The top, just make sure that you're doing it in the right ratios. I mean, that's completely my fault, complete numpty mistake there with the roof panel. But I do love the way it looks, like the matte top. But like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to last or not. That's the problem there. And the wing was okay. I think these small parts are much easier to do for some reason. I am a bit disappointed with the bonnet, but nevertheless, that's it. If you're thinking about, repairing the clear coat on your car, this one had massive sun damage. That was the problem. Link in the video description to the Gunman's video where he did this on his mother's Honda Jazz. And like I said, this video, just to show you the mistakes I made, the noob mistakes that I made. So maybe it can help you on things to avoid when, if you take the job on yourself. All this was done outside, maybe with a bit of wind. It's not ideal. If you can do it inside, I'd super highly recommend it. Much better to do it indoors if you can. And if you are going to do it outdoors, make sure it's not going to rain. Try and do it on a day when the wind is minimal. And that's really about it. So that's the video, guys. Hopefully you found it helpful. As always, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, very important. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in next Sunday's video.